What's up, YouTube? Southern Comic Geek coming back at you with a big haul, a lot of it coming from Wizard World 2020 in New Orleans, Louisiana today, which I've got some comments about that I'll sprinkle throughout the video today. But I was able to pick up some books, was able to pick up some sketches, and so overall an okay day. So this video is full of some eBay finds, some shop finds, and my finds at Wizard World. Now, this was my first Wizard World that I'd been to, and I had checked on the internet, and it was full of comments, and I found most of them to be true. The thing with Wizard World, which was like a lot of cons, at least in my mind, that there are less comic book vendors and there are more cosplay, that type of thing. I'm okay personally with the cosplay. Some of it's interesting, some of them actually do a good job, as long as they stay on their side of the building. And I found that to be the case most of the time. They go do their cosplay contest, etc., while I'm able to visit with the artist and get to talk with them about their books and so on and so forth without standing in lines for the most part. And so it works out really well that. I just don't like the idea of not having any comic books tables there. There was probably 4 or 5 that were there. And so anyway, it wasn't as many as I would have liked. Probably as many as I needed, truth be told, as much as I spent on some of the stuff I bought there. I really didn't need any more temptation. But that's just my opinion of Wizard World. Take it for what it's worth. So first up, got Batman number 2. This one came in this week and completed the Batman New 52 or Volume 2 of that series. This is the variant, the Jim Lee cover. Hopefully one day I'll get Jim Lee to sign it. But when I bought it, it was already signed by Greg Capullo and Scott Snyder. So I'll have a triple signature if I can manage to get Mr. Lee to sign it. X-Men number 4. Kind of like this series. I'm giving Hickman kind of a pass for the lack of real hardcore fighting action that I think a lot of people has led a lot of people to drop the series. But Magneto, there he is in a white suit, but he's just as big of a boss as he's ever been, handling people at the boardroom table. And if you've read that comic, you know what I'm talking about. So I think Hickman's building up to something. I'm going to give him a few issues in on this, and because the art's good and the story's okay, and we'll see where it goes. This is one of the X-Men that I've needed. With the X-Men that you'll see here today and the ones that are on their way, I'm down to needing only 25 to complete my run of X-Men Volume 1. And that's, what is there, 541 books, I think, in that series. So will certainly be a big accomplishment, and it is on the radar for this year. Of course, that entails a lot of big, expensive books such as Uncanny X-Men number 1, Uncanny X-Men number 5, and so on and so forth. But we're whittling it down one book at a time. So this is number 73. Got XO Manowar number 26 and number 28. If any of you watched any of my other videos, you know I can't let a video go by without buying some 90s age Valiant goodness. And so this one's no exception to that. A newer book, Red Hood and the Outlaws, number 41. Kind of dig the character, the Red Hood, and so picked up the last few issues of this. It's okay. Marauders number 5. This is the 40th Dark Phoenix Saga anniversary cover done by Tony Daniels, and picked it up. And Marauders is, it's okay. I'm not a big fan of Marauders. I know a lot of people are. Kitty Pryde is, acting all BA and everything like that, but I don't know. I do feel old to know that 40 years ago Dark Phoenix was here, so Got Star Wars #1, the sketch variant. Thought it was really cool with Yoda and Obi-Wan and whoever that bunny is over there. So, Uncanny X-Men 273. This was one I had, and Michael Golden, who's the creator of the Micronauts, among other things, was there at the Wizard World. And so when I have somebody that I'm not necessarily a big fan of, don't have nothing against, just haven't really delved into a lot of his work, I'll search through my stack of books and see if there's something that he has. And so this was the one that I picked out. It was a book I already had in my collection, obviously, since it's Uncanny X-Men. And this is one that I'm hoping to get double signatured because Chris Claremont is going to be at the Comic-Con in Huntsville in April. And so I will be going to that. And we'll get him to sign that. Went ahead and picked up a few more blank sketch variants. So for the future, got Star Wars Darth Vader #1. Got Thanos #1. Exo Manowar #2. Batman 426, part of the Death in the Family. And so I've back at GalaxyCon, I got the actual Death of Robin copy signed by Jim Starlin. I didn't have these other copies. If I run into Starlin, I'll get him to sign, so they'll have the set signed. And Mike Mignola, one day maybe I'll get him to sign it. But this is 426 and 429. Detective Comics 1000, the Steranko cover. This is the 1960s version of Batman. For those of you who know about Detective Comics 1000, there were a million variants, as there were, but there was one for every decade, and so Steranko did the 60s, kind of fitting. And Steranko was there at Wizard World. He is quite the character. I think he lives up to his reputation, and but he was extremely nice, although he said because I was not a foxy lady, he would not take a picture with me. I think he said that kind of tongue-in-cheek. I think he had his reasons for him not taking a picture, that was not it, but I'll leave my thoughts to myself on that one. With that said, he took the time to talk with me about the comics that he signed, about Comic Cons in general, and was just a really, really interesting conversation. So for somebody who's influenced a lot of art and the comic industry as a whole over the years to still be that down to earth, still only charge $20 a signature, that's good. The only thing about this signature versus all the rest of them, and when they first got the book, they started scrubbing it because it's a smoother cover than the rest of the ones that I got them to sign, which were older books. And I put it back in the board and bag too quick, and I don't know if it shows up on the camera, but it was smeared, and I was like, ugh. But hey, what are you gonna do? The No Ones. I've got issues 1 through 6. This is a miniseries, 6-issue miniseries, done by. Man, I hate when my mind goes blank. Jim Kruger. And he is the guy that wrote The Marvels with Alex Ross. And so he was there at Wizard World today. And so got a long talk with him. And really interesting, really nice guy. Picked up these issues. I told him that I was going to do a review video. I have read the issues already, and I will be doing a separate review video on that, so stay tuned for those of you who might be interested in checking out this series. But he did sell me the set and also signed it. I told him to sign it in whatever he thought popped, and he said black always pops. I don't know that I agree with him, but hey. So that's issue number 2, issue number 3, issue number 4, issue number 5, issue number 6, And he also did this deal, Neon Future, which is, I don't know if there's more issues than just the one, but I got this one there. It is table 2. This is just the Marvel previews. I picked this up at a shop this week. I was able to pick up some more Bloodshot. I actually thought about getting Steranko to see if he would sign this. Ended up not. I had enough money coming out of the wallet today. But picked this up for $2 at Wizard World. And for those of you who are familiar, this is one of the knockoff Steranko covers. But, hey, people give credit where credit's due, and they say after Steranko. So I think it was Nick Fury that this is a knockoff of. But this is Bloodshot number 5. This is volume 2. This was after Valiant was acquired by Acclaim during that time. I think the Bloodshot did like 17, 18 issues. And these are a little harder to find than the old 90s Valiant, even though these were right after that. There's just not a lot of, at least in the areas that I've been looking at, not a lot of books to be had out there. So that's number 9, number 10. And there's actually some of them that have some value to them because, imagine as the number 13, imagine as the movie comes out, I know what it is. There's a character that's in this set of series called Chainsaw that is supposedly going to be in the movie. So when the movie comes out, if it does good, then these will go up. Of course, I'm not buying them for that, largely nostalgic reasons. But Bloodshot Salvation number 2. So as luck would have it, or not have it, ever how you want to put it, I go to one vendor, and again, there's not that many vendors to pick from, and so you hate that when most of the vendors are either rude or they either don't have their stuff priced and it's in no order. Now, I love to dig in bargain bins as much as anybody. Dig neck deep down in bargain bins trying to find those dollar books, those hidden gems, those that are dug in there and in no certain order, okay? But when you go to a show and all of your books are out of order and you say, hey, it's a new collection, tell me what you want and I'll give you a price. That's a lazy way to retail. So you don't price none of your stuff, you don't put none of your stuff in order, and supposedly because it's a new collection. I think it's just lazy retailing. But, hey, what do I know? And this was one of the deals. So that book that was the Steranko knockoff cover, and then this one, I bought it from this guy. And got them both for $10. So, I mean, I'm not going to gripe too much. But he said, what's the big deal about this one? I said, well, it's just one in a run. It's not like worth a lot of money or something. And he said, well, all I'm seeing right here is it's like $8. He was looking on eBay. I hate it when retailers price their stuff based on eBay. And it wasn't on sold items. It was on items for sale. So that's not even saying that it's going to sell for that much. But I sit there and I rummage through your bins to try to give you business. And then you're going to go on eBay and pick the price. Why don't I just go on eBay? I mean, if retailers are looking to please customers to the point that they do not leave them and go to eBay for all their buys, then they need to treat you better than what eBay can treat you. If I can go on there and if I'm okay paying X amount of dollars for a book and I can hit click and it ships and it shows up and there's no driving to cons, there's no parking at cons, there's no tickets to buy at cons, and all that expense that's involved with con, I don't have on eBay. If they're going to give me the exact same service as eBay, which is none, why not just go to eBay? So retailers out there, and I'm sure there's so many of you, right? But retailers out there, take note. If you're going to go and try to please the comic community, and I know that I'm not the only person out there that feels this way, Don't look your stuff up on eBay. Actually price your stuff decent. Have a decent conversation with everybody. I'm not some snot-nosed punk kid that came by there that doesn't have any money in his pocket and wants to pick every wall book you got off of and point at it all and take it all out and try to Jew you down to the lowest dollar possible. I'm not that guy. So when I show up, give me some common decency to have a good conversation and not try to rip me off. That's all. I guess that's one of my rants for tonight. But anyway, what ended up happening, if I would have waited, there was a Bloodshot number 2, because I wasn't necessarily just sold on this copy of it, this cover. There was another cover at another booth for $2 if I had just waited. And that's where I got this one for $2, Bloodshot or Salvation number 4. Bloodshot USA number 4. Needed that to complete the set. And this is one of the Earth X's that I got Mr. Kruger to sign. Again, don't necessarily agree with him that black pops all that well. So this was a really great series back in the day. And so if you haven't read it, pick it up. Check it out on the Marvel app, whatever you like to consume your comics with. And maybe one day I'll get Alex Ross to sign it. So if Wizard World wasn't enough, I did get a chance to visit one of the local comic shops in the area and picked up this, Kitty Pryde and Wolverine, an oldie but a goodie, number 6. And this was the only one I needed to complete that set. This is another one that I got signed by him. I mean, how can you beat Hulk in a diaper? I mean, you can't get much better than that, right? Oh, well, there is Fat Spider-Man. So we got Fat Spider-Man signed too. And we got Deathstroke number 16. And got Tyler Kirkham to do the signature there. And Mr. Kirkham he signed my Return of Wolverine variant edition number 1, which I sent off to CGC there. And he also did a Red Hood and Joker sketch cover, of which I got a picture of. If I can figure out how to splice it into the video, I will. If not, you'll just have to wait because it's off to CGC. And hopefully I'll get it back in a month, which is what CGC's been doing as long as they're not pressing books. At least that's been my recent experience. But they did text me a picture, and it looks really awesome. And I can't wait to have it on my wall. But this is one that I didn't get graded. So there is X-Men number 49. This is a Steranko cover. But unfortunately, if you haven't guessed it, there is no Steranko signature on this book. Why, you ask? Oh, I'm glad you did. The reason why there's no Steranko signature on this book is because I purchased this off of eBay, and in enough time for me to get it. I had not seen where it had been mailed, so I contacted the seller and said, hey, I'd really like to have this book in time for Saturday when I see Jim Steranko. And so he ships it out and says, oh, well, that's cool. Hope you get it in time. Thanks. That's not really the answer I was desiring. I was hoping he would say, well, because I didn't do my job and because I wasn't a good communicator and did not communicate with you as to why I had not mailed your book off yet, that I'm going to expedite the shipping. No. So while I was in Wizard World, I get a notification that this is on my doorstep. So I guess it just wasn't in the stars that this book would be signed, but such as it is, it's one of the goodies that I've been picking up in the original X-Men series. Now, I had to get this book signed. This is the age-old Jim Steranko classic cover, awesome cover, and of course, and I heard other people tell me he would say this, and he did. But he signs it in the logo. And that's because, according to him and others, he's the one that created that logo. So, if you'll remember, back to this issue right here, look at the logo. And look at the logo one issue later. And so, he's the one that changed the logo. They still use that logo today. So, like I was telling him, it's great to have conversations with legends like him that have changed and shaped the industry as they have. these fly-by-nights, you go to these cons, and I'm not going to call no names because I'll upset some people that are fans of them. And I'm not fans of these people. It's just that, look, people all the time, and I'll relate it to basketball. People all the time talk about LeBron James, and they say, "Oh, LeBron's the best. He's so awesome." I'm like, look, if they're still selling LeBron James shoes 30 years after the man's hung up his cleats or his sneakers, then talk to me about it then. Until that time, Michael Jordan, hands down. Okay? And so the same thing with comic book writers or comic book artists. When they've been doing something and then 30 years later, people are still talking about it, saying how great it is. I mean, think about Claremont's Dark Phoenix, John Byrne's Dark Phoenix run. All this time later, 40 years later, people are still saying that's one of the best stories of all time. And so same thing with Steranko, and in particular, this Polaris issue. There's some foxing on my copy of this. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that out, but glad to have that in the PC. And since I had it, I said, well, I'm there. Why not get him to sign it? It's not as good of a copy as I would like, but a lot of spine ticks along the side there. And then we got this line all the way down here, but got him to sign that logo. This is X-Men 80. Pretty decent copy. These have been pretty rare because so I have 80 through 541. Okay. And then, of course, a bunch of them sprinkled up above 80, but sequential wise, this is where it starts. And I'm looking online, these were not really that easy to find at a decent price. And so picked this up at, was it Reese's Comics, Reese's Collectibles, something like that. I just watched a video, 3 Men in a Basement, I believe is the name of the channel, and they gave a shout out to this particular guy, so it's kind of neat that I ran into him. Saw this on a wall at a decent price, and picked this up for $40. And saw this on the wall at a decent price. I said, look, Steranko's right over there. I got to go get him to sign it. So that's what I did. So got another Steranko signature there. And then Captain America 111. Great classic cover. I started to leave this with the CGC guy. And he said that some cleaning probably could do it good. But in particular, and I don't know, maybe if I can shape this in the light just right. If you can tell, there's a sub crease on this book right down the center. Yeah, there, you should be able to see it there. There's a sub crease right down the center. He said, man, if you could press this book, even clean it, yeah, we can do it. So I had to ask myself, would you like to wait 100 years? Not really. It's 18 weeks, but 18 weeks is a long time. To send this off to CGC and have them press it, grade it, and finally get it back to you, all for the sake of having a yellow label. And my answer was no. That's me. That's not everybody. I know some people just have to have them. I'll dig the yellow labels, but you know what? I collect my way, okay? I don't have to have CGC. I just sent off a whole bunch of books to PGX. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to give them a shot. I know a lot of people diss on them all the time, but anyway, I collect my way, right? And I like to get double signatures. And so when you have, now in this case, since Stan Lee was the other guy that worked on it, that double signature thing will never happen. But in this particular case, I didn't want to wait so long to get my book back. So I was willing to forego the yellow label for that reason. Now, I forego it because I like double signatures for some other reasons, but hey, you don't have to collect like everybody else does. And people say, well, what should I start reading? Well, what do you like? Do you like superheroes? Do you like horror? Do you like, drama, suspense, whatever? I mean, get with what you like. And it doesn't have to be the thing, the Johnny come lately. It doesn't have to be the one that has a brand new movie come out. Think for yourself for a change, people. Collect what you like, okay? If you like men in tights, buy superhero books. If you like Star Wars, buy Star Wars. So, hey, what do you think about my pickups? Leave some comments down below. Tell me what you've been picking up. Tell me what you think about cons. Have you been kind of seeing the same thing, less and less vendors out there? Have you been getting the same vibe from vendors that they're just not as friendly as what you would think someone who wants to maintain a vibrant business should be? Leave those comments down below. And if you should choose to do so, I would appreciate your consideration in liking this video and subscribing to this video. And if you like haul videos like this one, be sure to check out the rest of them on my channel. And so this is a Star Wars 1 variant I got the other day. And this is the Star Wars 1 that just came out this week. And fully expected to get it done today. I was thinking about Tyler Kirkham doing something with this, but the print that I got him to do was $300. I'm like, okay, we're going to have to save this for another day. So maybe another day. But again, thank you for watching. Keep reading, keep collecting, and until next time, goodbye.